The City of Peoria is proud to showcase the Banners and Boxes Beautification Program. This innovative program transformed electrical boxes and light post banners into a vibrant outdoor gallery, showcasing local artwork that celebrates artists, sparks creativity, and enriches the entire community. Throughout downtown, the Warehouse District, and Sheridan Village, 15 electrical boxes and 100 banners were transformed into vibrant canvases for local artists. Public art plays a vital role in shaping vibrant, connected communities. Studies have shown that art in public spaces encourages foot traffic, supports local businesses, and fosters a greater sense of safety and pride.
What makes a city feel like home? It's not just the buildings, it's the stories, the people, the color, and sometimes it's the art on a street corner that catches you off guard, reminding you that someone, right here, had something to say, and proof that art doesn't have to hang in a gallery to matter. The Banners and Boxes project isn't just about beautification, it's a celebration of connection between past and future, between neighbors, between artists and where they live. So, how did this project come about?
The Banners and Boxes Beautification Project is a public art initiative in the city of Peoria that utilizes existing street light poles in which we hang banners and traffic cabinet boxes. I usually have to explain that a little bit. If you're approaching an intersection where there's a traffic light, there will be a metal box close by that cases all of the electrical work. And so when we talk about the Banners and Boxes Beautification Program, it's literally creating banners to hang from street lights and getting wraps to cover these traffic cabinet boxes that displace the work of local artists.
This project is meant to not only highlight artists in the Peoria area, but also beautify the Peoria area and places that would otherwise be kind of boring. And so I'm thrilled about it just because I've always been a fan of beautifying the area and also just adding some cultural texture to the community through art, and I think it's dope.
I believe that we received by the deadline about 130 submissions, and we had a very long meeting of our committee to determine the choices.
The Public Arts Advisory Commission's mission is to advise the council on pieces of artwork that's donated or purchased for the city. And here we are, getting some pieces that are going to be technically on loan to the city in our outdoor display. So we gathered them for a meeting and everybody got a packet to review all of the artwork. So not only did they get a hard packet, we looked at the artwork on large screens so they could get a good close-up look. And they were taking into account the execution of the work, the idea of the work, the artist's statement, the subject matter, right? All of those things kind of came into play, and they had a very difficult time making that decision.
We were looking for pieces that would be vibrant, that would tell a story of Peoria, because all of the artists are from Peoria or have a studio in Peoria. And so we wanted to not only show a significance of the city and the vibrant things that we have going on, but the actual art that signified that. So we had the opportunity to look at every single piece and make our decisions based upon what we thought would be the most effective, whether it was hung in the city warehouse district or on an electrical box in the city district that would show the history or the images of Peoria.
But now we've got these banners for art, and it gives a lot more exposure to Peoria art and Peoria artists.
My name is Jeremy Berkeley, and my two pieces are called Green Thumb and Big Picture. I deal with nostalgia most of my work, so I do a lot of research of like pop culture and landmarks and that sort of thing, and mostly I work in a silkscreen printing process. It feels good when my friends and family see it. So sometimes when you pursue an art career, it's sometimes like, oh, you can't make money in art, but once you see it on a billboard, you're like, oh, Jeremy's doing okay, you know? Just brightens the city up, and hopefully, you know, when people see it, are kind of inspired and have a sense of, Peoria pride of local artists showing their artwork off.
Hi, my name is Sis Carlson. The name of my piece is Field of Dreams. The whole piece is made of wool. I use an unwearable wool and make a canvas out of it by felting it with needles. And then I use merino wool to add the color and the design and whatever picture I want with either my fingers or needles. The inspiration behind this piece is just the beauty of nature, neighborhoods that have gardens, but also out in the fields surrounding Peoria, Illinois. I think it's impactful because it shows what talent we have around Peoria, and I'm hoping that it makes people feel happy when they look at it.
Hi, my name's Melissa Kadanag, and my piece is recycling. So this project was actually started during class in COVID times, and we were told to basically take photos of things around our house and see what were called to us. And I found that the texture of plastic bags lying around, we had a netted yellow onion bag. They were just very fascinating to look at. And I also started to look at the cans in our cabinets and noticed that the labels for recycling requirements were oddly specific. And I incorporated all of that into this piece to help raise awareness about recycling requirements and its importance, which I think is important every city around the country. There's an impact to everybody who sees it, and recycling is important for all people to consider, and I hope that it can help just make people reflect on their own habits and maybe incorporate some changes with how they recycle stuff.
Hi, my name is Ken Clubb. I painted this painting called Behold the Ebon Blue Sky. This painting then it's a watercolor portrait, washes, and then I go in with a little colored pencil for the detail. I enjoy doing somewhat of a loose concept and letting the paints flow, but I want to get some realism and some emotion in the painting also. I kind of had the idea of Brian getting inspiration through the cosmos. This public art is good to make people in the community aware of art as a whole. I think the more art that's out there, the more people will see it and hopefully appreciate it. I also think that it's good to have art that has a connection with Peoria.
Hi, my name is Lindsay Coquit, and the name of the piece that I submitted for this project is Pink Floral. This is actually a piece that was inspired by kind of my childhood. Growing up, I was surrounded by plants and flowers. My mom is kind of a green thumb, and she still works to this day in a greenhouse. But what I really wanted this one to have was really dynamic brushstrokes and kind of have that kind of sense of life and movement to it. So I kept it really kind of thick and then just really, really heavy brushwork that you can see as a viewer. Public art to me it kind of brings all of us together, and it draws off of those connections that we all have. So even though I may have this speak to me personally, I feel like other people would also be able to connect with nature. Maybe they have kind of farming backgrounds, or they have grandparents that have passed down plants through their own families. And I think it also just helps make our city look more beautiful. I mean, what isn't more beautiful than Mother Nature and flowers?
Hi, my name is Rose Farrell, and the title of my piece is Sanguine. I started spray painting when I was a teenager, and so I try to implement spray paint in my artwork as much as possible. Our connection with nature during uncertain times, a lot of us feel disconnected right now. So this piece represents our connection back to nature, and hopefully it'll reflect our connection back to community as well. It means a lot to me as a native Peorian, so really cool to see my artwork around and people kind of being like, hey, I recognize your style, saw it on my way to work, so that would be really cool.
Hi, my name is David Gregory, and the title of my piece is Poppies. This one I worked from background to foreground. Started in the upper left, down to the lower right, but left the poppies white. Started with a white ground. So all the dark was painted, and then in the end I came in and painted the red poppies. I'm excited that so many artists have been given an opportunity to participate in this project. I think it's great for the city and for the public.
Hi, my name is Michelle Guzman. My piece is called Summer Flowers Blue. I created summer flowers for myself, actually. I love going to Luthi Botanic Garden and Detweiler Park, Donovan Park, Forest Park Nature Center, just all the different areas, nature areas in Peoria. That just inspires me to do my art, do my photography. That is the focus of my work. So Summer Flowers is actually a tribute to all the different locations in Peoria that I visited.
My name's 庆君黄，我的作品是蒸汽机车。我希望人们在看到蒸汽汽车的时候，能勾起一些对过去时光的回忆，甚至人们可能会思考那个曾经缓慢的那个生活年代。我想，很多小孩可能对蒸汽机车没有印象，那么他通过看到这个，可能就会知道还有这种火车。我还是希望通过我们这个项目，让更多的人去喜欢艺术，甚至去从事艺术。
Hi, I'm Natalie Jackson, and the title of my piece is Acknowledgement and the Allure of Ebony. This body of work comes from one of my series called Baroque Beauties, and it's all about seeing yourself as beautiful and just the timeless beauty that transcends from era to era. This particular artwork, Acknowledgement, means freedom to me, and it's my acknowledgement as to honoring jazz, and in particular the aspect that it is an African American art form that's truly a universal treasure.
Hi, my name is Kelsey Knight, and this is my piece Blooming Magnolias. So what I did is I started with a sketch of my magnolias and the branches, and then I took a hot glue gun and filled in my outlines that you see here that are in gold. And then after I did that, and once that's set, I did the pour painting method by using acrylic fluid paints, and then I would also add some satin enamel to them, which creates these beautiful cells that you see here. And just kind of used a hairdryer and blew it around. And then after that was done, I went in with acrylics and painted the magnolias and the branches. And then my last step was to apply the epoxy resin on top of them. I didn't think that my art would be noticed, you know, that quickly, especially after taking such a long hiatus from it. But it makes me personally feel like it was the right decision to reconnect with my art and journey forth and see what it brings for me.
How you doing? My name is Marquavius Ewing, and the title of my piece is Golden. I want people to feel like joyous or something that they can relate to, or even a conversation starter, a reason to spark a topic when they see the piece that I created. It was inspired by a picture that I took, so I capture a lot of my own reference photos for the paintings that I take. I feel like it connects with the spirit of Peoria because it's actually a person that is from Peoria. It's actually somebody that's born here, that lives here, that's going to grow up and be able to see themselves in that light. So.
Hello, my name is Max Martin. The title of my piece is New England Prairie Aster, Mullein, and Milkweed. I started this piece back in the winter of, I think like 2024. Usually in the winter is when I feel like I start getting my creative kind of juices going because I want to start seeing more beautiful things after a really kind of dark and dreary winter. So that's when I start thinking about what my future garden is going to look like, what kind of plants that I want to see in the summer. So I started creating this piece that is mostly focused on kind of prairie plants, like New England Prairie Aster and the milkweed. And mullein may be invasive, but it is one of my favorite plants to see in the summer. Basically, I wanted the mullein plant to be the focus of the work. I was mostly thinking about kind of the color interactions that would be seen on the painting between kind of complementary colors. So I was focusing a lot on kind of green with some like pink and red accents to it. And then also another color scheme I had in mind was purple and yellow and how those kind of complementary colors can interact and kind of vibrate off of the canvas.
Hi, my name's Hattie Lee Mendoza and the title of my artwork is Gussied Up. This design is based off of southeastern Native American tribal imagery with southeastern floral patterns and tiny dots representing beadwork. For me, it's just a representation of me and my family's presence in the Peoria area, of being Cherokee Nation. I want people to feel joy when they see it. I love bright colors and very textured patterns, and I hope that it just brings a spark of color and joy and hope to wherever it's placed.
My name is Sarai Munoz, and the title of my piece is Spring Will Come. Like with all my artwork, I get inspired by the things I see around me, and it was no different with this piece. It was inspired by something I witnessed. It was during a thunderstorm at night when I saw this tree fall over this abandoned house, and I thought nothing of it. But amazingly enough, the following spring I saw the tree blossom, and I thought that was such a beautiful message. With that message, I wanted to say that even if we fall over and we think everything is falling apart, we can always get back up and blossom. And with this illustration, with the tree blossoming, I wanted to say that and say that you can always blossom, even during difficult times.
Hi, I'm Dan Nagel. The title of my piece is Spire. The design came from the Scottish Rite downtown. It's one of 3 spires atop the building. I want people to feel connected to Peoria and be reminded that there is cool artwork, cool architecture all around Peoria, everywhere you look, even if it's just a small piece of a building. It feels good to have my artwork be represented in the community and all around Peoria.
Hi, I'm Amanda Nutzman, and the painting that was chosen for Banners and Boxes is titled Late Summer. I spend a lot of time in my garden, and I spend a lot of time hiking, and a lot of times I want to learn more about what it is I see out in nature, and I'll usually go deeper into the study, and if I'm lucky, I can get a good photo, and I'll try and paint it at a magnifying detail. And so that is where this painting came from, studying the bees, the native bees, in this area. I want people to feel inspired by nature and to be inspired to take advantage of the green spaces we have here in Peoria. I'm super excited to be one of the artists that was chosen for Banners and Boxes, and just makes me really happy to think about all of the artists that were chosen having their art featured around town.
Hi, I'm Jessica Peterson, and the title of my piece is It's Gonna Be Okay. This was inspired by just the idea of feelings, basically. The world around us might be vibrant and cheerful, and it might even look peaceful, but that's kind of on the outside. On the inside, we can feel completely different. And I feel like the title, It's Gonna Be Okay, is really the taller house kind of trying to comfort the small one. And because the small one looks sad to me, it's got a rain cloud above it. So the tall house is trying to say, it's gonna be okay. Like, it's okay to feel whatever you're feeling and stop trying to put a mask on all the time. I think that, especially with things like social media, sometimes we're just trying to get through things, or we're trying to like put a smile on all the time, but you don't have to do that. You can be who you are, you can be where you are.
Hi, my name is Samira Joshi, and my work is titled The Death of an American Engine. When I was making this design, my primary focus was kind of capturing the beauty of technology and how it's advanced over time. I believe this connects to Peoria, as Peoria is a symbol of how community has evolved through the processes of technological development. To me, having my art displayed is really both a personal achievement as well as a professional one. Personally, I've always loved art. It's been a hobby of mine ever since I was a little girl, so to see my work be shown in such magnitude, it really brings me a lot of joy, really, at the end of the day. I hope that when people see my work, they relate to it, or they feel happy and can enjoy it and kind of notice all those little details that I put into it. Professionally, this is also a great achievement for me, just because getting your art out there is the first step in a really lengthy process to achieving kind of anything that you want to, and I think that if you were to set your mind to something, you can achieve it. I think that this proves that.
Hi, my name is Jody Takis, and the title of my piece is Sunset Over My Hometown. I like to do a lot with reuse in my art, so I use little bits of scraps, a lot of times things that people would put in the recycling bin or the garbage. And so I started saving the paper towels after that I wipe my brushes off on, or if I've got leftover paint. And I will actually get out clean paper towels and just take the leftover paint on my palette, put them on there, let it dry, and then I cut them and form various collages out of them. I was deeply moved when I found out that I was one of the winners. Personally, it validated me. I felt like I was actually recognized as an artist and not just a teacher. It doesn't matter what you do or how you make your mark, just do it. Make those marks, create, whether it's with paper, pen, crayons, trash like I use sometimes, wood, anything. Just find your niche and you can do it, you can make it happen.
Hi, my name is Liu Yang. The title of my piece is Dream Inception. I was inspired by movie Inception. There was one day and I realized I had a lot of dreams, but I never had any dream of outer space. So I spent 3 months to do different activities to interfere my subconsciousness to make me have a dream of outer space. I hope people look at my work and they remember to look at the stars and explore the future of possibilities. I'm very glad and proud to be featured in this program, and I hope people like my work and enjoy the work.
We do have a big art community, and a lot of times when we think about art, we think about visual art, we think about paintings, we think about, portraits, but we have a lot of great photographers, we have sculptors, we have spoken word artists, we have musicians, we have rappers, When I think about photography, I immediately think of Natalie Jackson, all the work she's doing, not only here in Peoria, but beyond. And that's incredible for us as a city, because when you have an artist, again, photographer, author, whatever, when you have an artist creating here in the city of Peoria, and then other cities recognize that art and want that art in their city, then Peoria goes to that city as well. And so it gives name recognition, it gives an understanding of what we're creating here, and that message gets echoed throughout the country and reverberates for years to come. And then when people come to Peoria or they hear about Peoria again, it's not the first time they've heard of Peoria, it's the second.
The local arts in Peoria is essential to any city, but especially I think in Peoria, because we have so much to offer. We have such a vibrant art community. And so when we were able to expand our art in the city of Peoria, it just makes it more exciting for the people who live here in Peoria and for those who visit.
It's important to us to have a public art presence, not just because it creates a sense of community and a sense of appreciation, but if you expand that lens of why public art is important, not just because it looks great in a place and makes you excited to be there, but you're actually taking the pieces of creative placemaking, activating spaces in a way that they've never been seen before.